All the lawyers in Beijing knew that top attorney Ethan Fox loved his wife as if she were his life. To solemnize his devotion, he had my name tattooed on his collarbone. Even though his work often required travel to many countries, he always set aside a few hours to return to me. Yet today, right outside his office, I overheard his staff teasing him. We invite you to enjoy the story Love Blind Lawyer on the HeartVoice channel. If you find the story meaningful or moving, please consider giving us a like and a follow. Your support means the world to us. Boss just got back a few days ago, and he's already off having fun abroad with Eva Lynn again. You know what? The mistress has high expectations. She needs our boss to satisfy her. Stop talking. Eva Lynn is something else, her figure. Of course, last time they even went through 6 boxes in the office. I stayed silent, staring at the message Ethan sent me this morning. This trip I'm overseas handling a divorce case. Darling, be good and wait for me at home. He doesn't know that this time, I am the one who commissioned the divorce. I left without showing any emotion and took a taxi home. A wedding photo of Ethan and me hung on the wall. He looked at me with such love. In my hand was the video Eva Lynn just sent. In the video, Eva's hands were bound with a tie. Her form-fitting dress pulled up to her waist. Ethan, the cool, restrained man I knew, was now visibly flushed. Panting, indulging in pleasure with the woman in his arms. I stayed silent for a few seconds, then switched off the screen. The floor-to-ceiling window reflected my current state. Smudged makeup. Streaked eyeliner, humiliating. I trembled as I used my secondary account to send a message. My husband is at a hotel with the mistress. What should I do? An hour later, he replied. Keep all evidence of his infidelity and send everything to me. All right, I'll compile it and send it to you in a few days. From that secondary account, I formally asked Ethan Fox to represent me in the divorce. I hoped that once he received the evidence, he would be satisfied. I couldn't sleep that night. The next morning, just as dawn broke, I heard the rumble of an engine and screeching brakes downstairs. Ethan stepped in cautiously and opened the bedroom door, then froze as he saw my silhouette. Darling, why are you up so early? He asked. I couldn't sleep. Why? Worry filled his eyes as he strode over and hugged me. Is it because I wasn't with you these days? And you're unhappy? I nodded. He looked stricken and gently lifted my face. It's all my fault. I'll cancel everything today and stay with you. I looked up at him, my gaze fixed on his lips as they drew near. Desire flared in Ethan's eyes. As he bent to kiss me, I turned my face away and wiped the mark on the back of his neck. Ethan Fox, you're dirty. His breath caught for a moment. The seasoned lawyer who'd weathered countless storms recovered quickly. He smiled and brushed my hair. I rushed back to you and didn't notice. I'll take a shower right now. I didn't argue and got up to wash my face. He thought his concealment was perfect, but he didn't know he was sweating from tension. In the bathroom, water ran. Ethan gripped his phone and whispered in an agitated tone. I told you not to contact me these days. If my wife finds out, I won't let it go. Eva Lynn wailed in indignation. But I bought the dress you like best. Don't you want to see it? He hung up without responding, then ran cold water over himself with increasing urgency. After lunch, Ethan enthusiastically suggested taking me to a temple fair. The lively crowd lifted my mood somewhat. He held armfuls of snacks, coaxing me to eat more. We arrived at a wishing wall plastered with prayer tags. He squeezed my hand. Darling, want to leave one? I shook my head, about to decline, when Ethan's phone rang. It was Eva Lynn's special ringtone. He panicked and hung up. But she kept calling. I calmly said, answer. He took the call, voice irritated. I told you I'm with my wife today. Stop calling. After hearing her words, his breath grew heavy, his eyes filled with desire. He turned to me guiltily. Sorry. Darling, it's a tough case. I need to go. I nodded, swallowing rising nausea. Work is important. I took a deep breath and squeezed his hand. At the top of the wishing wall hung a faded tag from both of us. Through all seasons, till hair turns gray. Sophia Dew and Ethan Fox. I removed it, tracing the worn inscription. Back then, Ethan looked at me with undying love. His every word sincere. I vow to walk with you, hand in hand until old age, through storms and calm, never apart. I lost myself in those words. But now the vow was rusted. The love rotten. I didn't need it anymore. I discarded the tag and walked away. Eva texted. He said he was thirsty and insisted I pour him a drink, made me shy to death. Sis. I'm soaked in wine. He got drunk. You're not upset, right? The attached video showed Ethan licking wine off Eva's body, from top to the forbidden zone. I didn't reply, only saved the evidence. When he returned, I was curled on the sofa, reading and not looking up. He circled behind, kissed my ear. It used to feel intimate and sweet, but now it only reminded me of him touching Eva. Nausea rose and I dry heaved once. He looked concerned, then his eyes brightened suddenly. Darling, are you okay? Is it? I interrupted. It's nothing. He lowered his head guiltily. It's all because I was busy today. I'll make up for it tomorrow. He brought in many shopping bags filled with clothes and jewelry, every time he wronged me. He'd do this to compensate. I merely smiled and placed the gifts in a corner. He poured me honey water, then cut fruit in the kitchen. I reached for the book to read when the doorbell rang. Eva Lynn stood at the door, wrapped head to toe, holding a gift box. Sophia do. This is from the boss. He forgot it at my place. She handed me the box. Inside was a silk scarf, the very one Ethan had used to tie her hands today. Hearing the noise, Ethan came from the kitchen. As soon as he saw Eva, his face changed. He stepped between us. What are you doing here? Eva opened her coat to reveal lace along her long legs. Boss, I came to give you the gift. Ethan looked at the box, then at me, panic in his eyes. Seeing I didn't react angrily, he relaxed. He shoved Eva and said, "Give it and go." She didn't linger, shot me a provocative look, then left happily. But I knew this wasn't over. Ethan was unconsciously unbuttoning his shirt, his throat moving, signs he was trying to suppress desire. I swallowed my nausea and returned to the bedroom. Minutes later, Ethan followed, holding a glass of hot milk. Darling, drink this and sleep early. I didn't refuse and drank it in front of him. As soon as he left, I ran to the bathroom and made myself vomit. He had drugged my milk. About an hour later, the bed between us had sunken. Ethan carried Eva into the room. Her coquettish voice filled the space. The sound of tearing fabric echoed. You're so bad. How dare you do this with me in front of your wife? Because you're too seductive. Aren't you afraid your wife will wake up? I already put sleeping pills in Sophia's milk. She won't wake up. I gripped the sheets, tears soaking the pillow. They shamelessly carried on nearby. Eva's long hair even brushed my face. My love, you're amazing. Ethan carried Eva from the bed out onto the balcony. This went on for 2 hours. At last, she was exhausted, softly begging for mercy. But he didn't stop. She asked in a whisper. My love, is your wife better? Or am I? Ethan didn't pause. What do you, compared to my wife? You're not worth a hair from her. If my wife wasn't afraid of pain, do you think I'd touch you? Ethan had always been gentle with me. I'd never seen him this savage, like a wild animal unleashed. In the darkness, I silently took out my phone and recorded everything. Finally, Ethan, one arm carrying clothes, one arm holding a naked Eva, left the room. I opened my eyes and let tears stream down my face. That would be the last time I cried for Ethan Fox. When I woke, Ethan was meticulously pruning flowers in the garden. He had planted the entire rose field for me, for every one of my preferences. He never let anyone else do it. He always tended the garden himself. He once said, loving someone is like tending flowers. Sophia, you are my rose. At that time, I truly believed I was the happiest woman alive. But flowers bloom and wither. Love fades. Nothing is forever. I leaned against the door and watched him quietly. He noticed me, smiled, brushed off dirt, then stepped forward and hugged my waist. So close I could hear his breath. His eyes were filled with me as he bent to kiss my forehead, reverent and tender. Darling, you're awake? Let me go cook for you. Seeing him bustling in the kitchen, I suddenly felt anxious. He didn't even know how to cook when we first started dating. but knowing I was picky with a weak stomach. He read countless cookbooks and even got a nutrition certificate just so I'd eat more. I remembered the pancake he made that turned out pitch black with batter. I chuckled softly. Ethan glanced back at me, his eyes full of love. I avoided his gaze. My phone rang. A calm male voice sounded. Sophia Du. Everything is ready here. When will you come? Everyone's waiting. I thought for a moment. Tomorrow. Tomorrow what? Ethan emerged from the kitchen. Puzzled. I cut the call and smiled slightly. Tomorrow. I have a surprise gift for you. His eyes lit up like a child. Really? My wife is the best. He leaned to kiss me. But I skillfully dodged. Go cook now, less talk. After dinner, he washed the dishes and then turned to discuss with me. Darling, there's an important case at the firm today. I need to go. I didn't answer, only helped him adjust his tie. Go. He glanced back anxiously. I forced a smile. The door closed. My smile vanished instantly. I knew he wouldn't come home tonight. Today was the anniversary of him and Eva's relationship. Some of the gifts he brought yesterday had already vanished. I went into the bedroom and began packing. I pulled a suitcase into the living room and placed a divorce agreement on the table. I thought if I ever left, I'd scream, smash things, make them all miserable. But now I realized I didn't care anymore. I just wanted to leave in silence, without a single word to avoid unnecessary conflict. At the airport, my phone buzzed. Eva Lynn sent me a photo of the necklace Ethan gave her. He said as long as I like it, the best in the world will belong to me. I switched to my secondary account and opened Ethan's chat. Attorney Fox. The mistress is flaunting what my husband gave her. What should I do? I will help you reclaim all the marital assets. I gathered all evidence of his infidelity on my phone, along with Eva's provocative messages. Packaged everything and sent it. Attorney Fox. I'm entrusting this divorce to you. After confirming he received the documents, I immediately blocked him, removed the SIM card, and threw it away. The moment the plane took off, my heart felt light. The plane landed. London was drenched in heavy rain. The fresh, pure scent seemed to wash away all the grime and filth. I pulled my luggage and stood under an awning, waiting for the rain to ease. Suddenly, in front of me, the rain stopped. A pair of polished black leather shoes appeared before me. Sophia Du. Long time no see. I looked up into his eyes. Daniel Trent. Long time no see. He smiled and took my luggage. Let's go. The others are waiting. In the private room at the restaurant, all the seats were filled. These were my future colleagues. Introduced by Daniel. Once acquainted, the atmosphere relaxed. A coworker patted Daniel's shoulder teasingly. Dan, you haven't dated in years. Could it be because of Ms. Du here? Everyone laughed. Daniel's ears turned red as he looked at me intensely, making me slightly uncomfortable. He bowed his head and stood. Sophia, want to go for a walk? I didn't refuse. I drank a little wine and felt lightheaded. Needed fresh air. Daniel was my senior, 1 year ahead. In our first year of university, I joined the university's New Minds debate competition, and he was our coach. He was talented and promising, even before graduation. Law firms were courting him. After graduating, he founded his own law office, specializing in helping the underprivileged, and quickly built a reputation. He once invited me to join his team, but at that time, I had fallen for Ethan Fox and threw myself into that love. When Daniel was about to go abroad, he rushed to ask me, "Tomorrow I fly, will you come to see me off?" I shook my head politely. He hesitated, then asked bravely, "At least as a friend, could you give me something as a keepsake?" I searched my belongings and finally took the pearl from my hairpin and gave it to him. Wishing you a bright future and smooth journey. These memories brought me back to the present. Daniel was still talking by my side. I glanced at his wrist. There remained the red cord with the pearl I had given him. We walked side by side, and eventually our hands brushed. I flinched as if shocked. Heat rushed to my cheeks. Oh, it's getting dark. Let's go back. Daniel's gaze was gentle, streetlights casting a warm glow over him. He suddenly held out his hand. His low voice in the night was particularly soft. Attorney Fox is renowned, welcome back to the battlefield. No one had called me that in a long time. It made me stand straighter. I squeezed his hand and replied sincerely, thank you. At the same time, back in Beijing, Ethan Fox was going crazy looking for me. When he opened the documents I had sent, his face went pale and lips trembled. Who's playing a prank on me? He muttered. He urgently messaged the account I used to send the evidence, but only got a red exclamation mark. Panic and fear washed over him. Despite Eva still naked in his arms, he hastily dressed and rushed out, frantically calling me, darling, Ethan Fox. Eva, furious, stamped her foot. Ethan sped along the road, rain splashing under his tires. Sophia, please answer. Fear made him tremble uncontrollably, eyes brimming with tears. Looking at the videos in the file, he belatedly realized how foolish he had been. His phone rang again unanswered. Ethan roared despairingly, slammed the steering wheel, then slapped himself. A vague dread gripped him. The divorce client was me. Thinking that I knew everything, yet remained calm. Watching him lie and play pretend for days, Ethan froze with cold dread. He couldn't forgive himself. He whispered repeatedly, she will forgive me. Sophia will forgive me. But when he rushed home, what greeted him was a divorce agreement laid out on the table. Ethan collapsed to the ground. Tears rolled down his face as he sobbed uncontrollably, endlessly calling me. Everything in the house remained intact, only I was gone. He knew me. He understood that this time, I truly wanted to leave. Eva stormed in, tearful, whining. You're so bad. Didn't you promise to celebrate our anniversary today? If you treat me like this, I'll tell everyone. Before she could finish, Ethan choked her, his eyes bloodshot, veins bulging on his forehead. He ground out each word. How dare you show up in front of my wife? Didn't I warn you not to let her find out? Eva went pale, scratching at his hands. I'm sorry. I know I was wrong. Ethan slapped her hard and snarled, get out. Then he couldn't stop hitting himself, again and again, until his lips bled. Sophia, where did you go? I remained oblivious to all of this. All I know is my road ahead remains long. After a long hiatus, on my first day of work back, Daniel arrived with a stack of books, urging me to study. Memories of those painful student days came flooding back. Under his guidance, I immersed myself in reading, analyzing cases, reviewing files. Quickly, I regained my passion. Within a year, Daniel and I won countless trials. Our reputations soared. I became a rising star in the legal world. Of course, this was Daniel's exaggerated praise. I adapted to life and work here. I never expected to see Ethan Fox again. That day, Daniel and I entered the firm when a colleague complained. The opposition has hired a formidable lawyer. We can't find info. He's never lost a case. I felt uneasy but didn't think much. Until, standing in the courtroom, I saw Ethan Fox in a tailored suit. His passionate gaze fixed on me. I didn't expect that our reunion would be as adversaries. I turned away and focused entirely on defending my client. But Ethan faltered, he lost focus. Made mistake after mistake. It was his first career defeat. At the end of the trial, Daniel waited outside the courthouse with a bouquet of red roses, my favorite. Congratulations. I smiled and took them when a husky voice sounded behind me. Sophia, I finally found you. I froze but didn't turn. Ethan's eyes were red-rimmed as he stepped forward and grabbed my hand. Darling, haven't you forgiven me? I really regret it. You don't know, this past year I searched for you desperately. Everywhere. Then someone said a brilliant female lawyer had appeared in London. Darling, I've missed you so much. Each, darling, made me sick. I turned back for once, eyes full of disgust. Don't call me wife. I'm not your wife. That made Ethan's eyes redden. His voice shook with pain. Sophia, we haven't signed the divorce. On paper, you're still my legal wife. I know you think I'm just angry. We've been together so many years. How could you say, leave, and I just go? Darling, come back to me. As long as you forgive me. You can punish me any way you want. Just don't leave me. I felt only annoyance. My celebratory mood vanished. I pushed his hand away forcefully and said coldly, Ethan Fox. Haven't you let me go already? You think we can get back together? Or do I need to publish those bedroom videos so everyone can see the real face of renowned attorney Ethan Fox before you'll be satisfied? But, you just reminded me. I will file the divorce officially. No, not like this. Ethan shook his head desperately and grabbed my hand. Sophia, do listen to me. The one I love is always you. I never liked Evelyn. She and I were just. His words were ridiculous. I couldn't help laughing mockingly. Just what? Just a physical relationship? You're really going to say you can separate love from sex? That your body could belong to another, but your heart is always with me? Ethan Fox, can you hear yourself? We can never go back. So stop dragging me. Get lost. Just thinking of what he did, and that it happened in my own bed, filled me with disgust. I slapped him hard. Are you done making a scene? Ethan's eye was swollen and his lip was torn. He held his face, his expression incredulous and pained. Darling, I'm hurt too. Why don't you care about me? What is that guy to you? You want me to hit you for his sake? I took a deep breath and looked at him calmly. You have no right to ask. We're over anyway. Next time. See you in court. I grabbed Daniel's hand and walked away without a backward glance as Ethan called my name in despair. At the office, I helped apply medicine to Daniel's wounds. He complained but looked pitiful. When I pressed too hard, I teased. Don't take risks like that next time. What if you get beaten? That bastard was nothing, he retorted. I could beat him easily. I laughed and said no more. That evening's celebration party, everyone knew what happened that morning. They all listened with fascination and kept glancing at me curiously. I just smiled and said a few light words to close the topic. But my remarks sparked chatter. Oh my, Sophia, I never thought someone as exceptional as you could fall for such trash. Disgusting. And such a shame the mistress got away unpunished. I raised an eyebrow. In truth, Eva Lynn had been punished. She was 2 years younger and once sponsored by me as a student. Her family practiced gender discrimination. They forced her to return to her village after graduation and marry a fool for a dowry. She resisted and was beaten until bruised. In the end, she was dragged back to marry him. I didn't tell this to my colleagues. They raised their glasses and sincerely said, Sophia, do wish you a successful divorce and freedom from that scumbag. From that day on, Ethan began showing up under my company building. He'd send 999 roses, order cakes, and call my name from below. Just seeing him made me nauseous. I called the police for public disturbance. He was detained and kept quiet, for a while. I thought he'd give up. But he did something crazier. He climbed onto the rooftop of my office building at night. I received the call just when I was about to sleep. Sophia, do. If you don't come meet me, I'll jump. I had forgotten how insane Ethan could be. I cursed internally but dared not provoke him. I had to reassure him. Don't do anything rash. I'll come. I didn't care if he died, but if he jumped from my office he'd cause a scene and damage the company's reputation. I texted Daniel, then rushed there. When he saw me, Ethan smiled gently. Sophia, do. I knew you wouldn't let me die. So you still have feelings? Do you remember this outfit? It's what I wore the first time I met you. A gray hoodie and jeans. He looked full of life then. Now, it just made him look desolate. I remember. Come down. I have something to say. Ethan shook his head. You said you'd forgive me. Say you'll get back together and I'll come down. I remained silent. Frankly, I'd rather he jump than force me to lie. I asked coldly. Ethan Fox, do you really think I should forgive you? You wronged me so much. Do you think you deserve forgiveness? You not only betrayed me, you humiliated me in front of me. Do you remember what you said at the start of our relationship? Back then, we were poor and shared a small room under 20 square meters without heating. One winter, he held me tight and placed my feet on his chest to warm them. Ethan bit his lip, his face full of remorse. Sophia, I'm useless. I can't give you a good life. I hugged him gently and comforted. Don't worry, we'll work hard together. As long as you love me. As long as our hearts beat as one. No difficulty is too great. Ethan raised 3 fingers and swore before heaven. I, Ethan Fox, Pledge that I will never betray Sophia. If I do, may I be run over by a car. I laughed and covered his mouth, not wanting him to say such ominous words. He held my hand firmly. Sophia, if I ever betray you, you must leave resolutely. That person won't be me anymore. Not worthy of your attachment. At 20, Ethan told me that if he ever betrayed me, I must walk away. Now, I looked him in the eye and replied calmly. Ethan Fox, back then you said if you hurt me, I must leave. I did. Then what are you doing now? Threatening me, forcing me to do things I don't want. Ethan fell silent. He had forgotten. His greatest dream was simply my peace, health, and happiness. What has he become? Betraying me and now trying to force forgiveness with death. Ethan slowly stepped down from the railing, held his head, moaning. It's not like that. I don't know how it all came to this. I didn't answer, just watched as he left the danger zone. I gently raised my hand. Daniel and a few security staff rushed over and pinned him down. Finally, I couldn't hold back. I walked forward and slapped him hard. Angrily I yelled, Ethan Fox, if you want to die, do it away from me. Don't die in front of me and pollute my sight. Ethan's eyes were filled with pain as he curled up, trembling like an abandoned child, sobbing my name. Sophia, Sophia, I love you. But the more he thrashed and cried, the more disgust I felt. Watching him dragged farther away until out of sight, I felt nothing. Daniel stood beside me, worried. I touched my cheek. It was wet. Because Ethan showed psychological instability, he was forcibly deported back to China. Daniel returned with me to accompany the divorce proceedings. With full evidence of his infidelity and marital breakdown, the divorce process went smoothly. This time, Ethan dared not act out. He quietly followed me through the paperwork. When everything was finalized and we stood before the courthouse gates, he looked at me and Daniel standing side by side, regret in his eyes. His lips quivered as he asked hoarsely, Sophia, if I hadn't done those things, would we have been happy? We would have grown old together, had a beautiful, smart daughter, raised her together, then travel the world together, side by side all our lives. Is that right? I smiled softly but didn't reply. As I walked past him, I whispered, actually, I was 2 months pregnant then. Just one sentence, no more. I knew he'd imagine the rest. Ethan looked horrified, eyes filled with agonizing pain, then collapsed to his knees, fists pounding the stone floor, each punch drawing blood. Daniel approached and quietly asked me, what did you just tell him? I shrugged and replied calmly, I just lied that I had been 2 months pregnant with his child. Daniel looked at me and gave a thumbs up, smart move. In truth, Ethan could never verify it. He'd be left with his torment and guilt. A few months later, shortly after returning to London, I heard that Ethan Fox was in a car accident. He died on the spot before reaching the hospital. The driver was Eva Lynn. She fled her hometown, rented a car, and crazily crashed into Ethan, wanting to die with him. She was arrested at the scene. It was the end of everything. Ethan had sworn that if he betrayed me, he'd be hit by a car. Now it had come true. From behind, Daniel gently covered my phone screen and whispered in my ear, Darling, want to go for a walk? I turned to him, placed a kiss on his cheek, and replied with a soft smile, yes. On a day when London officially entered winter, under the Christmas tree, Daniel Trent confessed to me. From here, I begin a new life.